There we go. Today I want to tackle and do some chatting about the lovely Pango. Been a map I disliked at first, but has grown as time has continued on. The more we played it, it's been a very T-sided map, but there's a lot of issues for both sides, honestly. And it's not all entirely T-sided strengths that have caused annoyances for me. For one, is a small thing. So much open T-spawn area, which I'm not sure if this would be something to be a problem or not, but there's a lot of dead space and map that I'm not entirely sure what it's here for, other than maybe this cutout for a little bit of the timing. Going for this early, long engagement, which, for the most part, I have to say nothing but positives. Just having these little cubbies for other players to be able to peek around and engage. This drop down from main is also very lovely to play around with. The only thing I currently have a massive issue with is allowing for this massive head glitch abuse position. That right now needs to be completely taken away in some form by larger rocks, making it a little bit more difficult to climb up. So this is like a platform you walk on here, or just plenty of solutions and options. I should not be able to head glitch off of this angle. Should be using this elevated platform for any of the engagements on this site location. That can be very nice, strict to play around. Just barely, I want to say, not enough space in this corner position here, especially with how this is elevated. I want to say the player's head has a little corner gap right here, so there's no way to truly, easily, safely hide here, as you have to crouch and then your bum ends up sticking out instead. So right now, a little bit more coverage and space in this spot, so it can be used as a passive take angle would be lovely, I would say, and nerf the CT defense when it comes to things like being able to abuse this head glitch here. With the next issue that I can go into mind is this wall giving so much cover. The wall itself is fine, but specifically being able to hold for a cross from CT, trying to work on an approach and a retake on this A site, this alone can simply completely deny rounds as is, which can be very problematic and annoying to deal with, especially with the quick drop down, and being able to play this position in the retake can so comfortably isolate the duels for the most part. The next thing is this bomb site being a bit wall bangable on both sides. Could definitely see some lineups and reads potentially in the future able to catch someone pushing out and getting a bit of spam, doing about 13 damage. Enough damage to be able to harass and cause issues. But I've seen the A rush in this upper area be quite rather deadly, being able to drop down immediately onto the site in theory. So with all this little bits of kind of fake and wooden cover, there's no real... retaking from this position is very frustrating currently, as there is no cover here, and once your position's known, your cover is quite literally blown away, shot through to smithereens, and players get mowed down, especially when there's all this deep gap here to deal with, too. On top of this, right now, the retakes kind of the biggest issue I feel on the map. Doing the retakes themselves are impossible for the CTs. That's where I feel like the one difficulty lies. The defense reliance is heavily on basically trying to find some pick in this A main area or long early, which both of these can be rather difficult because of the pressure that can be brought from mid. Being able to quickly go up, boost, and run through, clear out, and get control through this position. Can be very powerful or problematic. The only saving grace is being able to throw all the utility and possibly with a good flash or two, being able to take engagements and picks towards the stairway area. Using a lovely flash like so. Catching anyone trying to hold for that initial aggression. And this drop down is a nice feature. The wall banging right now, this floor and wall is a little bit too thin at the moment. Needs to be brought thicker and probably concrete on both sides, so it isn't as spammable as it is currently. There's a lot of small places where spam's possible that just the damage is so low and it shouldn't be a planned way to get a kill, really. But overall, this A site, specifically, it's all these little things, like these little pieces of cover, these annoying head glitches that I think cause a lot of the headache and the annoyance. The actual engagements, clearing out, taking fights, for the most part, is okay. Also have this issue with the split palette being able to see through, causes these fights and information to be a little bit wonky here. Being able to see players go by, go for the strafe and the pick. Playing around this actual site cover itself is mostly okay. This default spot is a little bit too strong, and this entire thing needs to be blocked and walled off, so the safest plant is maybe here to help also alleviate how difficult these retakes are currently. So right now, there's a little bit too much cover on the site, and I think this area is sort of the pain spot to worry about. As well as, again, no hard cover in this area, able to go through all of this wood and spam through it, able to cover through. The only saving grace being this sort of a frustrating head glitch balcony, which just leads to more awkwardness in the duels, only saved by the fact that this is all wood, so these little corner fringe engagements only reduces damage rather than blocking. But I do wish this was lower or better just cut off in some way, so that the fights were a little bit more consistent. Just the head glitches are very annoying to deal with. On top of the fact that all this room is work in progress. You have to shoot through glass right now, which is not enjoyable for the retake. Potentially having all of this lurk space in this room only benefits T's cutting off the rotations. Really should have all this cut off, so the furthest back can be about here, so still, like, upper chest is exposed when someone CT's rotating through to here, rather than right now, where you can make it pretty much a headshot-only duel, where the knowledge advantage is on the defending terrorist playing on this position. It's a bit problematic. Also, please, a box here. Right now, having to fully dedicate to the swing on the engagements from here, not having anything to work with, is very annoying. Specifically, this head glitch position I've seen not be too useful because we've been able to start getting people to utilize long effectively. But still can be pretty solid on the rush and the fadeaway, which could work if the bomb plant and after plant on the site wasn't too strong like it is at the moment, allowing for retakes to go be taken. Next thing where the issue lies, I think we'll just go to this mid area. I don't have much to say about the CT spawn or the connector at the moment, other than this rotation can be quite a bit exposed. And considering we have these lovely little SWAT fans here, Would be nice if we maybe had one on the road here instead to block. Would also allow players to be able to safely flash to help with the retake. For this A site, assuming some cover was removed and the approach was made a lot more doable than it is currently. But right now, the main pressure point, I would say, is this mid. This being soft cover with just a little bit of plywood makes this entire position borderline unplayable. I've seen 3-man holds on mid with a player trying to head glitch here, shoulder peeking, or playing aggressive on this lower side, the main, as well as the stairwell player. And even then, it's still difficult for CTs to hold or take the fights because the cover is non-existent. Having this boost up's nice. This really needs to be fully walled off as hard cover, or at least opened up for full visibility rather than some awkward spam engagement. Would be nice if there was a bit more cubby here, which does break into this little cavernous space at the moment, so that might be a little bit difficult to deal with. But more ways to play around, as right now it's these hard dedicated positions where there is no way to safely escape or get away from. Especially considering you have the soft cover here. Just get rid of this wood. Get it out of the way. So you can just take the engagement, get back, swing around it. Having CTs having to defend around soft cover is always absolute hell. It always ends up being the same here, as these Ts can get this high ground and end up shooting through this wall, I want to say, the other way, and not really care about this box or attempt at cover, as it ends up not really mattering in the grand scheme of things. And the only spots that could allow with aggressive util, like some kind of deep smoke to try to cover mid, have to do this awkward jump and everything, and even then it's still half cover. And it's the same thing with this, which this vent allows another strong way for Ts to be able to rotate. In theory, CTs, I know, could use it for the retake, but this almost never happens. There's too much mid control, and with the retakes, or rather, there's just too many places for a T to easily catch a rotating CT through mid, or even Squeaky, able to just freely hold here, swing and check different positions. So mid is usually not an option for the retake. Sometimes this path works, but usually this is a T path. This is just an additional T path, which is complete overkill, just claiming so much map control, as there's too many options to be able to go everywhere. So point is, right now, all this wood should be removed. I don't like this platform being here. I want there to be space of some kind for CTs to be able to play around and defend this area. Maybe make this a stairwell with the platform that goes up, and then have the wood soft cover with the box here. So you kind of have this little bit of engaged off-angle platform to help take this fight and dance around as well with the heaven. It's kind of the idea that comes to my mind, but not my map. All I know is that even though the Ts have just the right amount of mid control, which isn't a lot, with just this hard cover having to swing out and having an elevated position to assist with the take, but not giving any cover in the direct sense, completely nullified by the fact that there's essentially nowhere for CTs to play other than fully passive in these retake choke points that are very easy to smoke off. And again, this vent, completely useful for the retaking. So many ways to hold for it, and even ways for tease to use it to help with the take of mid, being able to potentially lurk through and get a surprise pick. I don't like this vent being here currently. It would really help to punish the rotations currently, which as of right now are pretty free on the T side. There isn't much need to dedicate anywhere you need to go. You just sort of dedicate to it because you already get the kills. You're like, well, we got the 2 kills on A. It's so easy to take the side at this point, and it's so difficult for them to retake. It doesn't matter. Usually it's the same thing with B here, unless you have a god anchor that's able to get 2 or 3 kills with the space given on this B site, which a lot of the positions are nice. It's a little bit impossible to retake, probably due to the fact that this is a bit of a cavern right now with a building magically on top. There's no way to throw util to retake onto this site besides here. Like, there's no way to safely throw util for retakes, which, again, same issue over here. So many positions to clear, no ways to throw util realistically to smoke anything off, as that is the perfect smoke, just barely. And even this little corner bit of it should be decently shootable through for the info, especially the elevated positions. Likewise, it's the same here. Just all this open space. Nowhere to actually truly play around currently. And all these easy ways for T's to get an advantage. As well as, of course, the dual early B here, which I don't know how a CT's really supposed to deal with it. It's just a hard anchor. You throw the util, pray they aren't rushing, maybe throw a smoke, try to lurk a position and outsmart someone in hopefully a 1v1 and isolate a pick. But even being able to fight for... It is a heavy util investment to fight for just to get this little bit of space in this area. Being able to attain room here, be able to take the duel that, of course, they have the little bit of platform here and the swing and even this little bit of window to give additional information. Even if smoked off a lot of the time, sometimes can end up seeing through that glass anyways. Of course, boosting through. These little logs giving this angle that I have abused so much with these little step out logs that go up elevated this high. Some of the more niche site positions like this anchor is okay. This has always been the default plant everyone's been playing around. And balance-wise, it seems okay. The only real issue seems to be this deep angle. No real easy way, again, to be able to clear it out. And also that spot not only being hard to clear out, no real safe way to throw it with util. On top of it as well, it's very nice, dark, and shady. So even those little bits blocked off, it's still a bit too much. Needs to be a little bit more solid wall. If there's some sort of deeper angle, like right here, to block off the view from heaven, but you have to take the fights here, I think that would be okay. But right now, being able to isolate the duel this far and deep and being able to play it freely as a retake position, I feel like there should be some trade-off being forced to engage the main duel fights, even if you are blocked off initially from heaven. Right now, this has been too much space and just one of those gotcha angles that's so difficult and just unfair and unfun to deal with currently. especially when you consider this vent that will allow the mid rotates to be able to be cut off with ease. Again, this vent really has to go, in my opinion. And that, with some slight tweaks, maybe another box for cover here, something to give util be able to clear out this area could be nice, but the rock boulder still needs to be brought up anyways, even regardless to that. And with this railway depot thing, again, how are you lining up for smokes? Like, here? This is not intuitive or comforting. And then if you want to even try to throw a flash, that's too high for a retake. So there's no way to even play these sites retake, let alone how garbage the retake is generally on these sites due to how blocked off everything is. Which I'm assuming all this is blocked off maybe for sightline optimization and FPS and such. But right now it leads to a very unenjoyable experience that's difficult to deal with. So when you have all these little, I guess, pocket elbows, what we'll call them, players able to just hide and hold freely. Just a little too many options. Like, I'm not even sure if I want this room to exist. Like, if this room was blocked off and it was simply just a wide platform to help with the approach and take a duel directly with Heaven, ignoring getting these logs removed, then it can be simply a little bit of a Heaven hold, or maybe trying to engage the guy on site, and you have to fully approach forward. And someone taking this duel doesn't have to worry about an additional surprise swing out from here. It is purely this fight, and it is a main entrance, and it's that simplified. Because this gives CTs no cover, no help, and just helps Ts run down this site even further. So maybe this room is where the problem lies, as well as the vent. And the squeaky and everything being able to swarm this A main's fine. I really think it's this deep position on site and things like this head glitch that are mostly problematic on A. And it's dealing with all these little rooms and such as like positions to possibly clear and have to fight for on the retake. Along with, of course, as mentioned earlier, and I can't insist this enough, the fact that this mid is unplayable for CTs. There's no way to get cover like on Mirage to try to play on the under part of the stairs. Like, you walk up the ramp to fight top mid and can peek through on the wall, or you have under for cover. You have this almost as an under, but we don't have those side positions for any true proper position. I would love for this to be hard cover, as I said, because then you could lurk and wait, and they have to either smoke you out or try to volley. Find some way to clear out the position, because they could start walking up, trying to go for this B cross, and then you catch them there. Throw a pop flash on your way out, and get away safe and sound. And that would be a way for CT to play passive and get a pick. But right now, there is no passive pick opportunities. You have to play aggressive, swinging out B main, looking for that fight early, trying to find that duel as they're initially fighting for this top mid control, and can be easily swarmed by 4 or 5 players. Because these other choke points across the rest of the map are so tight. Or you're trying to get an op pick, A main, or long. That's how it always ends up breaking down every time. So a little bit scatterbrained, a little bit more than usual, but I hope if some of these options that essentially translate to T's are cut out, and a little bit of this cheeky one-way headshot angles are removed, it can give a little bit more of a fair fight and lead to a more engageable experience on a map that I feel like has been played and improved the more we've played on it as players, but still always on the CT side. Every moment's a frustration. The second a player dies, it feels like the round's already over, T's can swarm a site, and everything's done, and finding ways to address and alleviate that and make these retakes more realistic would be greatly appreciated. And for now, I would say that would be my thoughts on Pango. Feel free to comment any other opinions or thoughts, or map developers can always DM me personally at Victress, or just get other thoughts from the hub and other forms of feedback. Sure, everyone would love talking about this one, as this is still very work in progress, and hopefully we can get some change to be made in the future.